rocking the Cleveland shirt. History 15-5 game comeback for the Wiffle Wednesday live chat, episode 21. Guardians hat, Guardians shirt. They're in first place, and I don't want to say I told you so, but I kind of did. I put them at the top of the list for my predictions. I think the AL Central is just as weak as it's ever been, and the Guardians pitching staff looks really good. Gavin Williams, I wrote him down on my MLB prediction sheet when I was like prepping for it. I put him down as my AL Cy Young. And then I didn't follow through. He's leading the league in strikeouts and walks. And I think I heard on the radio, I should have looked this up before I talked about him. I'm pretty sure he led Major League Baseball last season in walks, which is not a good stat. I don't love it, but I did see a video from Pitching Ninja. His two-seamer is running, back into right-handed hitters. It's running or had 23 inches of run on it, which is pretty hard to, I guess, keep in the zone if you don't start it pretty far outside or at least at the edge of the plate. So that is an interesting tidbit, and I could see how if you're having that much movement, you would have some control problems and some walk problems. And that's one of the things the Rays focus on. If you have pitchers that throw pitches with a lot of movement, they said they have their pitchers literally aim right at the middle of the plate and let the pitch go to the edges. Don't worry about trying to hit an edge. So I wonder if we'll see that with Gavin Williams working through. I shouldn't say working through because he's effectively wild because he's getting strikeouts too, but I would love to see him take that next step where he's not considered like a good pitcher with some tools, but one of the elite pitchers, because the stuff on the mound looks really good. It was the coldest Guardians game since 2018 yesterday in Cleveland, and his fastball still looked alive, and he looked really strong. He gave up one hit. It was a home run to Carter Jensen, and it was a one-hitter. Obviously, he didn't complete the game. If you're going to have, I think it was 9 strikeouts and 5 walks, you're going to throw way too many pitches in early April to throw a complete game. But he looked really good, and I watched it on TV because I was working, but it was fun to see. Good for him. I don't even remember where I was going to start. Oh, last week I did the YouTube live, and since then, like after that and now, these are the only two content things I've posted were these two videos. So I let content slip a little bit this week. My brother was in town and stayed with me, so that is definitely part of it. He came in on Thursday and left on Monday, so that's a majority of the time that I was not creating content. But that was just a lack of execution on my part. There's definitely opportunities. There was, we went to a card show, and he went with me, and it being his first card show in 20 plus years. We talked about like what I would consider the top 20 players that I'm looking for. He knows how Whatnot works. He's been around baseball cards for a long time. As far as like currently how the baseball card market is, he didn't know that, and how things sell and what I'm looking for, which cards are which. His product identification wasn't up to par, but he knows players. He knows baseball. He knows baseball cards. With that in mind, I told him my top 20-ish players. I don't think I actually got to the 20 names. I think I probably told him 15 and told him, hey, here's $200. Here are the players I'm looking for. Go buy what cards you think are cool and like what cards have eye appeal. The main reason I did that is because the Whatnot community does seem to thrive on eye appeal. So the better the card looks, potentially the better it sells. And it was kind of an interesting experiment on my end. Like, hey, here's $100, and he didn't spend the second 100. Here's $100. Go buy just like what you think is cool of the following players: Ohtani, Witt, Judge, Acuna, Ellie De La Cruz, Paul Skeens. And I went over the like current hot rookies, the JJ Weatherholts, Kevin McGonigals, Connor Griffins, Roman Anthony's. I told them pretty much any Connor Griffin card you see, you should buy. I think he ended up with like a couple of JJ Weatherholt firsts. I think he said they cost $1. Regardless, after I took his cards that he had bought, he spent $93. He kept 2 cards. One was a Ralphie Velasquez, Guardians prospect, and the other was a Parker Messick auto. I think it was stickered for 15. He negotiated down to 10, or it was part of a lot deal, and he associated a $10 value with it. So I let him keep those. and the total spent was $93. And after we pulled out those two cards that he could keep, I like assessed what I thought was there as far as what I thought whatnot value would be, and I conservatively said $150. So it was interesting to see that I could tell someone on the way to a card show, this is who we're looking for. Buy cool cards and let's see what happens. And he was able to walk through. We did not stick together the whole time. I immediately went to make a deal with someone that I knew, and so I started there. And I told him, I was like, Jason, I'm going to be here if you kind of want to like stick around me. And I will say that I am a terrible partner at a card show. I did the deal at the first table, and then I was gone. It was go time. I was there before the show actually opened, but for me, it's like a competitive grind. I want to beat the crowd. I want to beat people. I want to get to the next deal and beat people to the players I'm looking for. So once I finished up that first deal, I checked in with him. Hey, you good? All right. And then I was just gone. We would kind of cross paths every, I don't know, 10 to 20 minutes. And he would kind of show me a stack he's working on. I would flip through it and be like, I left him in a heartbeat too. He was cool with it. He knows the deal. He's a professional garage sailor. He knows what's going on. But I would check in and be like, hey, how's it looking? He would show me a stack of cards and I'd be like, no. And then this is good. This is good. This is good. And most of the stuff I was saying no to was like Stars of MLB. I don't want to sell Stars of MLB cards. They're produced one per pack for retail. So there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them. So that was actually the first table he went to. He pulled out a bunch of Ohtani, Witt, and Judge of the baseball stars. And I was like, I don't want those. We're going to try to avoid those. So let's look at some other stuff. And then I did send him a video the night before. And this is a cool one. There is in 2025 Bowman, there are reptilian refractors. That's what this is. It's got the reptilian skin on the side. I did not know these existed until the night before. I sent him this video. A guy said that there are air versions that say Pearl Refractor. I don't know if you can read it. It's right above the player's name. And there was only, at the time that we found this, there were 14 listed and like 30 sold. So pretty good sell-through rate. And I told him, I didn't know this existed, but if you see reptilian refractors, at least look and see if you find any pearls. And he found one. So that was pretty cool. I did not know these existed, and I probably would not have watched that video or at least taken in that knowledge if it wasn't for me being like, what else can I give him information-wise without overloading him? So this is probably like one of the most happiest or like best finds of the weekend. It made me the happiest to see it. We kind of had like a high five moment, like, oh, is that one of the pearls? And he's like, yeah, it is. I was like, oh, holy crap. Like, I can't believe you actually found one. So that was really cool. But it was really, I truly enjoyed giving him like, hey, here's this like tiny little basket of information. See what you can come away with. I thought it was really successful, and it kind of got my brain turning. Like, I can't download my brain into someone else, but I do think that I can teach people enough to like enjoy walking a card show, maybe not necessarily trying to buy cards to sell for profit, but buy cards that I want to sell. So this is something I talked about on an upcoming podcast where maybe your lane for buying and selling cards isn't buying cards and selling them on eBay and whatnot, but maybe your lane is buying cards for someone who sells on whatnot. So it was interesting to see that he could do that in a very short period of time, and what else we could do. If we were able to go to multiple shows, and if he could learn a little bit more of the cards that sell well, the cards that don't sell well, players that are hot. I made a list after the show of players that I'm interested in buying. He was here till Monday. So on Monday morning, I shipped the Sunday night Whatnot show, which, by the way, was extraordinarily good. And I kind of went over, hey, these are the players that sold well. Here are the players that had good weekends for fantasy baseball, because I was watching a fantasy baseball podcast, and I showed him the list of people I want to buy this week or that I'll be looking for. And he took a picture of it. I don't know if he'll be able to go to a show this week, but I think, it at least interests him, and he saw the fruits of our labor because he watched the Whatnot show on Sunday night. Saw some of the cards he purchased for $1 go for $5, and so he was pretty enjoyed it, and we had a good conversation about it, both right after the Whatnot show, after the YouTube podcast, and then on the way to the airport. So could be an interesting thing moving forward, whether it be with him or someone else, like shopping with a partner or going over just buying targets. So by buying targets, I made a list. for this week, this upcoming week, and then like maybe a card show this weekend. I don't know if I'm going to go to a card show this weekend. There's not many of it that I like. I'm going to try and get to a card shop on Friday and hopefully spend my money there. Guys, I believe in the hot start that I'm looking for. Gavin Williams, talked about him at the beginning of the show. Chase DeLauder. We were in Cincinnati, 3 hours south of Cleveland. Don't get me wrong. We weren't technically in Cincinnati. We're in Xenia, Ohio. Between the two of us, looking at every dollar box, looking at showcases, talking to dealers, the two of us combined found 0 Chase DeLauder cards. No one talked about him. No one said a word. We couldn't find his stuff anywhere. I was actually stunned that we couldn't find anything. So he's on my guys I'm trying to buy that I can't find. Drake Baldwin, he's off to one of the best starts in baseball. I think I was looking at fantasy. He's the second best hitter behind CJ Abrams. Fantasy takes into account runs, RBIs, and steals, which aren't necessarily card sellers. But Drake Baldwin looks like the guy in Atlanta. They're getting him in the lineup every day. I'm buying Carter Jensen. I liked Carter Jensen before. He didn't have a lot of cards. He had 2021 Bowman draft, and then his 2026 rookies are starting to come in. He's in Heritage, and then we'll see more. Hopefully Topps Chrome Black, and then Bowman would be the next release, I believe. I'm trying to find Cam Schlittler. I believe in the start, and also this was the most expensive card I purchased on Saturday. If you know the snack packs, this is the Peanut Refractor. Yes, that is a thing. Refractor, Peanuts Refractor. I believe the snack packs are 4-card packs, and they're about 1 in 10 cases, and it's just sitting in the top of a sealed box. So these are pretty rare, but I did buy a Schlittler Peanuts Refractor in a PSA 9. Paid way over the last comp for it. Almost 50% over the last comp, but there were none for sale, none similar. And obviously he just gave up his first run the other night. So he's off to a good start. Same thing I was talking about Gavin Williams, where his fastball has so much movement. Cam Schlittler's really good at tunneling. He has 3 fastballs that like hit different parts of the zone, even though halfway to the plate, they're sitting in the same spot. So I think he's going to have a lot of swing and miss, good market. And yeah, the Yankees should win a lot of games. So it wouldn't surprise me if we look down at the end of the year and Cam Schlittler is leading the league with like 18 wins and 180 strikeouts or something like that. So I'm excited about that card. It's probably going into the safe. He gives me Tarek Skubal vibes, except he's even a little bit bigger and right-handed, obviously. But this is a card that I could see in a couple of years just being one of the most desirable cards he has. So I'll set that off to the side for a little bit and see what kind of Cam Schlittler growth we see. Also, on the things I'm looking to buy, I put Pearl Refractors, but obviously I mean Reptilian with the Pearl Air. Other hot starts I'm buying, Taj Bradley, Jack Leiter, and Jose Soriano. They all look good. Jose Soriano pitch mix looks really good. I'm interested to see if he can continue to strike people out and keep his walks down. He pitches for the Angels, so there's not as much like immediate TV coverage and card jumps that I expect, but he's one that's going to be in dollar boxes everywhere. He's a 2024 rookie, so I just put him on the list. Same thing, Jack Leiter is a 2024 rookie, so they're both on the list. I know that's a lot of pitchers, but that's just what I see so far that I like. Guys that I don't believe in the hot start, CJ Abrams. I mean, he's kind of had the same profile. He will flash a little power and a lot of speed, but his card market just hasn't moved. I don't mean just necessarily in the short term, but his highest price point has been 2022 when his rookie cards were newly minted. So I'm not looking for a ton of CJ Abrams, even though he looks really, really good to start. The Nationals, I don't think, are a good team. And, it could be literally a week from today when we don't talk about CJ Abrams much for the rest of the season, unless you're deep in a fantasy league. Speaking of Nationals players, I'm not interested in buying right now. James Wood, he's incredibly strong. He has incredible power to the opposite field. He's really good at hitting and barreling a baseball, except when he doesn't. He has so much swing and miss in his game. His strikeout rate is unsustainable. It's really hard to be a productive major leaguer with an over 30% strikeout rate, and his was nearing 40% in the last half of the season. He was at 39, I think it was 39.2% last year in the second half. So that hasn't improved so far. The smallest sample size we could imagine. So the reason I'm buying into pitchers is we can see tangible difference. They have a new pitch. They have more movement. They have a different arm slot. So the pitchers I'm definitely more buying into. The hitters so far, I don't like James Wood and CJ Abrams for buying targets. people I do want to buy while they're just off to the slowest of starts. Give me more Bobby Witt. His he hasn't hit a home run yet. He looks like exactly the same player. A couple steals the other day. Incredible player at shortstop. Bobby Witt's one of the best players in baseball. So if there's a small buying opportunity that he starts the season cold, I'll be looking for more stuff. I talk about Bobby Witt because today is April 8th. It is the Bobby Witt only show on my Whatnot channel. I put the link in the description. If you want to bookmark that, I'm going to try another player-themed show on Whatnot. I talked about Whatnot ebbs and flows in my thumbnail. I've run only 2 shows, Sunday night and Tuesday night, since my last live. Sunday night was one of the best shows I've ever had. It was a good group. We were chatting a lot of baseball. I don't know if a lot of people chose not to run shows on Easter Sunday, so I was one of the fewer shows running, or one of the few shows running. I almost canceled because Sunday we were spending time with family. We were having a good day. I got home and it was probably around 5 o'clock, and I was like, you know what? I want to run. I also blame the ball card show. They're on my notes here. They went live at 4:30 while I was still at my grandpa's. I was like, well, if they're running, I'm running. So they ran a show, and I was like, I'll go live at 7:30. And I'm really glad I did, because it was one of the best shows I've had in a long time. Viewership topped the 70 number, which is only the second time that's happened. And for me personally, that is a very, very big number. The big cards sold for the right amount of money. The small cards had a ton of action. So that was a very, very good show. I think I sold 242 or 245 cards in just under an hour and a half. And it was a strong viewership, strong bids, and strong chat. The chat is important. If you have people active, it keeps people in the room because they have other things to look at, talk about other than just the card on screen. So that was really strong. And then Tuesday, here's a huge mistake I made. On Sunday, while I'm streaming and having success, I should be talking about the Tuesday show. Hey, go bookmark this, go bookmark this, go bookmark this. Hard to do if you don't schedule the Tuesday show before the Sunday show, because then there's nothing to go bookmark. That was a mistake I made. So my Tuesday viewership was down. It was not down as low as I expected. I still got up to 50 viewers for probably 20 to 30% of the show. It was a pretty good showing, but the bids were down a little bit. The chat wasn't as active. When the chat's active, I can also pull cards that the chat is looking for. So when they're not talking about any players or making any requests, it's hard for me to fill in. So from my perspective, I thought I sold 184 cards last night. I thought I did an okay job of mixing in players and some new Bowman's Best that I got, but I felt like I just wasn't doing a very good job of providing cards that people wanted to see, because some of the bids stayed at the $3 mark for every card across the screen, no matter who came or what card came. And I take 100% responsibility. I need to try and read the room more, or at least find more players that people are interested in. I tried to push the Drake Baldwin and Cam Smith narrative, but we're not there yet. Cam Smith's off to a hot start as well, but hasn't seen a bump in his prices, or bump in his interest is what I should say. With that said, tonight, Wednesday, is the Bobby Witt show. This is the most bookmarks I've ever had on a show. I think I have 47 bookmarks right now, which bookmarks aren't everything, but what bookmarks are on Whatnot is that when I go live, the 47 people that bookmarked it get a notification. Hey, this show is starting. You bookmarked the show. You might want to watch it. Wiffle Breakers is live. So that can only help. I see a lot of other Whatnot sellers. They will do a giveaway if they get a certain amount of bookmarks, whether it be on this show or in total for their future shows that they have planned. And I did not do that. So 47 bookmarks by just word of mouth and people who have seen what I do and enjoy what I do coming back is very cool, and makes me excited for hopefully what I can continue to build and do on Whatnot, because it's an instant machine. I was talking about this with Jason, my brother, how the ideal situation of what I would like to do is go to a show like we did this weekend, come home with 400 to 500 cards, and all 400 to 500 cards are what I would consider good Whatnot cards, and they're sold by the following week, and that's it. And then go to another show that weekend, or if I want to take a week off, take a week off. This is the only stuff. These are the only cards that I bought this weekend. I probably bought around 550 cards that I didn't want to put on Whatnot. It's a lot of image variations, some case hits, a cool George Brett rookie, true rookie. I say true rookie because it's not a short print, is really all I meant by that. some Mickey Mantle stuff, a big home field card, some variations in players that I think I'm early on. Like I really like Alex Freeland. I think I'm a little early on him. Charles Davelin, I think I'm early on him. Tops now Aaron Judge rookie. Dante Nori, another image variation. $130 card that I don't really want to run on Whatnot. So that's the kind of stuff I'm picking up that I don't want to put on Whatnot. It's more eBay. But in the end, if I only put on 20 cards on eBay and sell through 400 cards on Whatnot in a week, I consider that a good week. And kind of the end goal, well, I shouldn't say end goal, the current goal, because I would love to get up to like 1,000 cards a week and do 3 shows, and then maybe a 4th show that someone else is running. We'll see how that goes. That's just like in my brain. I don't have anyone in mind, a show theme, even a type of card. I don't know if I want it to be baseball, if I want it to be another sport, if I want it to be non-sport. Of all of the ideas, I would lean towards non-sport because there's a world where baseball isn't played in 2010. Major League Baseball isn't played in 2027. And I personally find myself leaning more towards non-sport than anything else. I don't hate basketball cards. I don't hate football cards. I personally feel like I have a hard time buying them and entering that world and entering that market. Whereas non-sport, I can find it a little more interesting. I find like my knowledge as far as who and what is mainstream or who is popular in some of these series and episodes could be something that I lean into. Not necessarily Pokemon, almost certainly not Pokemon because that just doesn't interest me. I enjoyed the game Pokemon Go. I remember distinctly walking and trying to hatch an egg on Pokemon Go while my other brother drove by me and yelled "nerd" out the window. So that is something that has always stuck with me and was the most fun I had playing Pokemon Go. But doesn't card market doesn't do anything for me. Yeah, I talked about not doing content this week. I just kind of dropped the ball. But one thing that stuck out to me that I want to work on and like the reason I showed this exact card, this Reptilian Pearl Refractor Air, Gary V, whether you like him, you hate him, you enjoy his advice, don't enjoy his advice, it doesn't really matter. The guy's pretty smart and very good at what he does. He talks about being the jab, 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 right hook theory, where it's like help, 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 ask for help. And the perfect example he gives is if you're a small business owner, whether you maybe you work on heating and cooling stuff, whatever a common problem is in the furnace world that a homeowner could fix on their own, make a video showing them how to fix it because that builds trust. So I'm big on like there's nothing I want to hold back as far as secrets in this business because there's nothing that I shouldn't share with anyone who's interested in buying and selling. There's enough to go around. There are so many cards, so many players, so many opportunities. I told my brother I was going to talk about the Pro Refractor and he immediately was like, why? Because it just doesn't matter. Like sharing your experiences, sharing your ideas, sharing your opportunities. I just don't think it affects me. I'm happy to share and help other people learn. I'm still going to be out there grinding in the streets, going through hundreds and hundreds of boxes and getting what I hope is more at bats than anyone. I think that's where the real strength comes in. It's not the secrets or the short prints that I know or the image variations. It's just the at bats. It's about going to, at least one card show every week for, I don't know, probably 6 months straight. I've maybe missed 3 in the last 6 months. And 1 or 2 of those was probably a holiday or, it was around Christmas or a snowstorm or something. But even then, I'm pretty sure I went during snowstorms. So that is the competitive advantage I have. And the edge that I have is just keep showing up. So if someone is watching this, trying to buy and sell cards, trying to buy and sell on Whatnot, it's not about having more secrets than anyone else or knowing more can only help you, but it's about at bats. It's about seeing cards. It's about if you flip through 1,000 cards every weekend and you suddenly see something that you haven't seen before, you at least have the curiosity to look up that card. What is this? Why haven't I seen it before? Where did it come from? Is this a new product or is it a short print? Is it from a exclusive product? Like one of the cards that happened to me was Lids puts out these like 3 or 4 card chrome packs that are only available when you purchase a hat from Lids. And so when I see cards that I'd never seen before, it happened twice. That is where they had come from. So just just seeing something different is what made me learn about something. So the at bats and being around cards, going to card shows, seeing what other people are buying and selling is really how you learn. I've tried to go 30 minutes for these, but I feel like I've kind of talked about everything I want to talk about today. Oh, I do have one. I have two more notes actually. Three more notes. Okay, I didn't read this at all. Um, First off, there was a little bit of discourse, and I kind of fell into it too, about overpaying and underpaying on live selling. So I've had both experiences, and I think I've had both extremes of the online selling experience. As a seller, I start cards at $1 and just let the auction happen. I think that's the most interesting and most fair way to do it. And with that comes bad and good experiences. I've had a dollar card sell for $43. It's 100% happened to me. I also had a 200 minimum 200, probably a $250 card sell for $73 while live selling starting at $1. And I guess I don't necessarily know how I'm supposed to approach both things, because if you look at the discourse online about people talking about, oh, this people are taking advantage of buyers, where's the line? If I sell a card that someone is interested in and they are bidding up to $20, they bid up to $30. Is there a point where I'm just supposed to end the auction or tell them I don't have there's no end the auction button, by the way? Is there a point where I'm supposed to tell them stop bidding? Is there a point where I'm supposed to tell people, hey, you could probably buy this card cheaper somewhere else? Or is the responsibility on me to talk about what I'm doing as a business owner, what cards I'm buying, what players are hot, and putting on, I don't want to say too much of like entertainment or a show, because anyone can do it. You just show up and you talk about sports cards. But where's the line of like I need to hold people accountable, hold myself accountable? I don't know. It's just a thought that I had, and I have no idea how to approach it, how I should address it online if it goes both negatively or positively. Because even talking about cards underselling, I don't think is a good way to talk about it either. I made a video talking about how this $250 card sold for $73. And after I posted it, I didn't even feel like I should post that. Like, there's so many videos of people making like, oh, they overpaid, they got ripped off or whatever, but they didn't get ripped off. They decided to make that bid and they won the card. The live selling portion of it does create like impulse buys, impulse bidding. I understand that. But isn't that kind of the idea? Isn't that why people are there, to see cards that they were interested in? My brother Josh, who watches most of my shows, has said that that's happened to him. He doesn't necessarily know how much a card is worth, but at the time he didn't care. He wants that card. It's a player he's interested in. It's a card he might want to get graded. It's a card he might want to collect. It's a card he might want to resell. There's different paths that card might take once it's in his possession. So where's the responsibility for me or for him or for anyone to do anything about it? I have no idea where this idea is going or what I should do with it, but it's just something I wanted to like put out there. What are you thinking? If you've been live selling or live shopping, what experiences have you had? I'm just curious about other people's ideas. And then the other thing going on right now that I put in my notes is the Topps Industry Conference. I think it's in Arizona this year. I think it's at the Arizona Cardinals facility, and I want to go to this next year. I don't know how you get invited, if it's an invite thing, or if I could just pay a certain amount of money. But this is on my vision board. I don't have a vision board, but I want to go to this in 2027. The Topps Industry Conference. Got to make it happen some way, somehow. I don't think there's anything like that I will gain from it other than exposure. I want to be in the industry. I mean, that's literally what it's called, the Topps Industry Conference. I want to be involved as much as I can. If there's even one person that I can learn from or one opportunity that comes from it, that would be something cool. And of course, content. I would love to make content at something like this. One of the things that's come out from this is that Fanatics is putting out like an American Express card. And I have zero knowledge other than a couple of screenshots that I saw, but there is a potential that you could have early product access if you have their credit card. And this is the same thing with credit cards with cash back. If you are responsible, and I cannot stress this enough, if you are responsible, you have to be financially responsible. That may be one of the best opportunities coming, because I haven't been able to get product in the last few Topps drops, whether it be basketball, football, or baseball. I just haven't been able to win any of their things. or my computer isn't fast enough. I don't have a bot. So I haven't been able to buy the things that I want to buy. If that credit card does somehow potentially give me access to buying, it is an absolute no brainer. You just have to be responsible, pay your credit card off every month, take advantage of the perks. But yeah, don't go into debt over baseball cards. It's not worth it. So that's on my list. I have no idea what that Fanatics credit card looks like, other than it's likely through American Express, and it may give you early access to some products. And not early access is the wrong word. It may give you priority access. So instead of getting botted out or not being able to buy things, I can actually buy. And for that, I'm in. And then one last note I put on here: I had a slower week of sales this week, but it's my own fault. Good sales weeks, bad sales weeks are always my fault. It's about input. I had a very low input this week. I have a lot of cards I need to get listed on eBay, so I'm going to work on that, as well as taxes this week for my people. You have 1 week for the tax deadline, myself included. I'm talking to myself. So we'll get that done, and I'll be back next week. And next week, I hope to have something very, very exciting to talk about. I just booked a trip to Arizona. Details of what is going to happen in Arizona are still being heavily guarded because they're all etched in pencil. It could be erased at any moment. But there are some opportunities for me, and I'm hoping to have more to report next week. So thank you so much for being here. Another Wiffle Wednesday live chat in the book. It was episode 21 today. That's a lot of weeks to keep showing up. So I will see you next week, same time, same place, Wednesday at noon. Thank you guys for being here. Until then, we'll see you next time.